Welcome to another edition of Lakeville City Council Wrap-Up. During this program, we will highlight the agenda items presented to the Lakeville City Council at their August 3rd, 2015 meeting. First highlighted item on the agenda is item number 5A, Public Works Monthly Report. And to provide the background information on this agenda item is Public Works Director Chris Petrie.
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, as always, my pleasure to be here presenting the July 2015 monthly report for our Public Works Department. And this month, as we have the last few, since we're right in the midst of construction season, I'll spend the majority of the time on project updates, the first of which is our water treatment facility improvements. Crews continue to pour the deck over the reservoir. You can see that here. This is the 1 million gallon expansion to our current 3.1 million gallon reservoir that's underground behind the water treatment facility. It'll bring our total, once complete, to 4.1 million gallons of storage on site. It's expected that all the pouring of the deck, which is more or less the roof of the reservoir, will be completed by the end of August. We'll then do some water testing, some site restoration, backfilling, those sorts of things. And once our water demand goes down for the year around October, we'll be actually making the physical connection between our existing reservoir and this new reservoir, and then we'll be able to put it into use. In the meantime, we'll begin some of our interior improvements in the water treatment facility, including some of our chemical feed equipment, high service pumps, and other equipment. The project is on schedule and planned to be completed by January of 2016. Next project, of course, is our 2015 street reconstruction project. Work continues within phase 1 this year, which we have, of course, the 2 contracts. Several areas have already seen new curb and gutter, of course, new water main, and the first layer of pavement, and even restoration, i.e. sod, has gone in these areas, and driveway patches. It continues to progress on schedule, and we expect that phase 1 will be completed in 2015 as scheduled. The next is our 5060 Roundabout Project. If you've driven by and been able to see the project from afar, you'll see that things have changed significantly and a lot of activity in the last month or so. Crews continue to pour curb and gutter throughout the project, and the first layers and base of asphalt have been completed on the western and northern approaches to the roundabout. Remaining work includes storm sewer installation. I already mentioned the curb and gutter installation that'll continue, grading, and then paving of the eastern and southern approaches, as well as the roundabout itself. The project is still on schedule and scheduled to be completed at the end of August. Next, our Holyoke Avenue Water Tower, which is just up the road from here. The foundation itself has been poured. That's in the center photo there. You can see the foundation where you see the concrete there. The foundation itself has been completed, and what you see in these photos are the ring wall and the forms for the ring wall being set, and the photo actually on the right side, the ring wall itself being poured. That's been completed. They're stripping the forms off the ring wall now, and the ring wall is actually what the tower and the column will sit on, or the shaft. The shaft crew for the tower contractor, it's a different crew that then does the foundation, will be mobilizing in the next couple of weeks, and then we'll start to see the actual shaft of the tower or the columns start to be erected and constructed. That should continue on through the fall of this year, and then after that, the bowl of the tower, where all the water is held, will be constructed around the base of the shaft, and then at a point next year, that bowl will actually be raised up and placed on top of the shaft, similar to our central maintenance facility tower that was completed about 10 years ago. Work is on schedule on this project as well, and it's scheduled to be completed in the fall of 2016. Staying with the water theme, Well 20 construction, which is in Cherry View Park. It's been underway for a little over the month, and they're making very good progress on Well 20. The crew drills about 3 feet per hour when their drilling activity is going on. So far, they're over 400 feet deep, and they'll be going to about 550 feet for the well. It's expected that they'll complete the well drilling here very soon. Then they will install the casing pipe into the well, grout the well, and then they do well development to build the well. That should all be done by the end of the summer, and what you see in these photos, that equipment can be removed. And then throughout the course of the fall, the actual well pump, controls, motor, all those sorts of pieces of equipment will be installed. We expect the well to be actually operational yet in 2015. But fully operational for the summer and peak demand time of 2016. Continuing on, Kensington Boulevard, work has begun on this project. Lane shifts, as you can see in these photos, went into effect last week, and actually last Friday some of the reclamation work took place. Unfortunately, to get this out to the council, we didn't have a chance to get those photos, but that project's underway. And in fact, today crews were on site, and we've talked to the council for street recon areas as well as this, ways that we're trying to protect our infrastructure, specifically the water main. In areas where we're not replacing it, we're installing cathodic protection that we're expecting to get an additional useful life out of the water main infrastructure. That equipment was going in today, and we actually have, I believe, just over 70 sites where that's going in within this project, quite a few. Miscellaneous roadway repairs. If you've been around the community, you've seen all sorts of things, from the photo on the left where we're doing some catch basin repairs and paving. That's a picture off of 183rd and between Ipava Avenue and Dodd near the police station and Lifetime Fitness. We're also doing some sidewalk replacement, some other miscellaneous milling and overlays. Today they were on Glacier Way near the Quick Trip gas station and Cedar Avenue. And then you'll see the photo on the right side. That's one of our photos with the trail reclamation work that was going on. I believe that one's on Ipava Avenue. So they continue with this work. The trail paving is expected to occur this week, weather permitting. And then they will be moving on to a number of our city facility parking lots that will be reclaimed and rehabilitated this year. Those include all of the City Hall parking lot here, all of the Fire Hall 1 or Fire Station number 1 parking lot, a small portion of the rear parking lot of the Heritage Center, and then all of the parking lot of Fire Station number 2. And that work will begin in late August on the parking lots, and we'll make sure to make everyone well aware of that. Lastly, as water meters reach the end of their useful life, of course, they start to develop problems, which is typically somewhere in the year after year 20. Situation recently occurred at Ardmore Village, one of our manufactured home parks here, where a 6-inch line serves that entire community, and then Ardmore Village is responsible for all the water mains and water services within there. However, after troubleshooting the problem, it became clear that because of the meter's age, that there weren't parts available, and it was our crews were unable to fix it. So you can see in these photos, our utilities division replaced the existing meter with a new meter that you can see in those photos there. It was a fairly extensive and involved project that required shutting off all the water to Ardmore Village for a period of time during just one day. But you can also see in the photo on the left-hand side, to physically even get the meter into the meter vault, they had to remove the top of the manhole cover just to get it in there. So that went well. We're able to replace it within one day, and now we're back and being able to serve them without any issues. And that does conclude the monthly report for the Public Works Department for July 2015. I'd stand for any questions.
Next highlighted item on the agenda is item number 7, public hearing related to submittal of supplemental Minnesota Investment Fund application on behalf of Post Holdings Incorporated. And to provide the background information on this agenda item is Community and Economic Development Director Dave Olson.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the council. This is a project I believe that council is familiar with. The last time we discussed it at a meeting was at the June 22nd work session. And this is the first step in a process, and we'll be back before council with the actual formal agreements. But what's before you tonight is the state-funded portion of the incentives to retain the former mom brands, now soon to be Post Consumer Brands, jobs in Lakeville as part of the acquisition of Mom Brands by Post earlier this year. And it is the Minnesota Investment Fund program administered by the Department of Employment and Economic Development, otherwise known as DEED. And the city actually becomes the conduit for those funds. The application is made by the city on behalf of the business, and that's what the public hearing and the action tonight is, to authorize the application, and that allows DEED to make a formal award letter and notification. And then what will probably be, will bring back to council probably in September would be an agreement between the grant agreement between the city and the state of Minnesota that will allow the state funds to flow to the city, and then we'll have in turn have an agreement between the city and Post Holdings for the money to flow directly to the company for the up to 250 retained jobs that are proposed to be kept and retained here in Lakeville. We'll also, and probably try and package it together, but the council's city's portion of a proposed tax abatement for those same jobs would be, both of those agreements will require a public hearing by the city council, and again, we're shooting to bring that probably the second meeting in September. So tonight's action is just a resolution. DEED, before they make award letters and approval approval of their program funds, they want to make sure that the cities are on board, and they don't want to be allocating money to projects unless the city council and the city's in support of those projects as well. So that's what the action tonight allows the next step in that process to take place, and I'd be more than happy to try and answer any questions.
Item number 7 was approved by the Lakeville City Council. Well, those were the highlighted items presented to the council at their August 3rd, 2015 meeting. If you have any questions or comments regarding these agenda items, please feel free to call City Hall. The number is 952-985-4400. Thanks for watching this edition of Lakeville City Council Wrap-Up.